Sanjay.
Not try opening. Just make sure that's
not
two
formats. Yeah. So you already have
No, I use that because of the so now the switch so right now,
I'm good now. You test it. You can test it. So you test it.
yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's on. Well, I don't like the print screen. I don't like to have fingerprints on my screen.
Yeah.
So they don't second, they just got there. They kind of decide what I want a specific side of that package. I prefer smaller cell phones. 4, 5, 6,
Now they have 6 inch, 6
More people buy that stuff. So right now they just launched their new laptop, their 16. It does not have the 10 generation. It does not have LPDDR4.
You know when you have to take a
Now,
whole
I use different email addresses. I search different Chrome for every student.
at one point, six
So just like issues way more than 60 gigs. So my next ones are my next well, I would have saved these. I could tolerate now
pure There's a lot of cost
Also give them
they are very well fed.
Yeah, we're actually the biggest excavator. We're the biggest excavator in the state. Really, we don't do any. Yeah. I mean, everything is all on the ground. Right. Yeah. Because everybody.
What's the time format for this one? 5 plus 1?
No one's come up.
7 o'clock we start.
No, the times for each pitch.
10 minutes, 5 minutes QA, 5 minutes pitch.
Okay. So 4 plus 1, right? 4 minutes.
He said Ken Wong 10. He has said 10 minutes. I'm okay with 4, 5. Whatever.
Perfect. One time, you would have to, yeah, have to be good. It's going to spray it, it's spraying it. where they work.
So you can.
And that's the low case. Double up, same do that. It's just a simple. So when they he just search details. So satellite system has all the I just started to I wanted to expand.
Potential is basically utilization of existing
Computers. Large sort of
So sir, welcome and
yeah, and the person that referred to
Sanjay. So we started networking now.
But I don't have a concept of
Yeah, that's not a good way to be successful. Exploring.
I guess most of us.
Right now,
Oh, that's it. That was a downscale.
I wanted to grab.
last week we do that PM.
Wrong ways a lot.
No. No, we're working on it. We're working on it. We've got a little bit of seed money. I just started. Working on it. Our burn rate's like we're on payroll. Well, the other thing in Nevada, if you're a blockchain company in Nevada, there's no taxes, licenses, or outside regulations. So blockchain is it's one of the best states. Yeah, for blockchain.
And I just got just look at the
I don't feel
The law. We were just going to be on supply chain. Mexico and tokenize work on getting rid of peso, get rid of corruption and stuff for the country. We've got passing on the federal station and we have a lot of different things.
I don't know, I'm in 7, so I've never been in. Well,
Right, yeah, just an API will connect to somebody like a point of sale system already. We don't have to charge you. Buy new stuff. It's easy for them to incorporate it. There's no fee. The vendor side of all. Visa charge you the 3.5% or 1.9 or whatever. There's no fee whatsoever on our system.
oh my God, yeah.
It's like cryptocurrency, users are used to paying for transferring money. So it's just 0.1%. Very, very little.
Yeah, it
Right now it's 1.2. So payment is one of our coins, which is about 4 cents right now. So it's almost nothing, but we're going to make sure we want to do is 0.1% transaction. We just where we deploy a few places, we got a couple of exchanges and other things. It's easier to do. So the value of 7 cents. 7 cents. You're probably making like 0.6%. Nothing compared. Hey, I was like, Bitcoin is really slow. So Bitcoin, you should send something.
How are you? It's going well. Yeah.
Groceries.
Excited.
Stand there. Your bags.
Getting some feedback from the users.
Oh, nice.
Made some changes a little bit more recent things to see go through. And then check out the website. Yeah, it's a lot of pretty good stuff. No, on the app, on the computer stuff. Yeah. How you been? When you just started, you ready? When you gonna do your startup? You ready? Very busy with the day job. That's a day job. Quit the day job and then quit and then they do some time.
It gives it so exactly different.
It's good independent how you take pressure. I don't know, some people might like to break down and become
Do you like pressure?
I like pressure. All the pressure I do is I put on myself. So I don't know why I'm doing this. It's a call.
Have you been pitching somehow houses?
No, actually, I don't really invest at the moment.
Okay, so you want to spend some time to get into market and acquire more clients.
Actually, because our cost is very low. And you know, that's the ones that have a good product, like have traction. They don't have the traction. So if they have traction,
I bought that before.
When you want to measure,
you know what I mean? Because it doesn't make sense. Okay. Most people say, "Oh, 200K is more money." To some people, it's not. To me, it's okay. So if my time to build traction, and I don't mind putting 200K. Yeah, so like, why do it? So, eventually I will need it, but not I can self-fund it. So I'm just listening. Yeah, so what's new with you? Besides
we get our knowledge when we do it.
so you're gonna be at like insurance and markets?
Yeah.
So I think the thing
Due diligence of some of the startups.
Techcode?
Yeah, we run our own nodes.
I'm looking at semiconductor. Scott. Next to Scott. So Scott, some Thomas, and Lawrence. It's near Applied. So I work for semiconductor. Tedious work to tell other people so I can claim the credit. So yeah, so it works has been good for me. So yeah, I manage the whole infrastructure. More like an infrastructure guy, not like an engineer. I do have interest in that part, in my opinion. It's just more time. Because originally I wanted to succeed in those months. Because I started like family business. Usually like a couple months later, I open Tesla. Like in 2 months, you know you're gonna make it. Like you pay some money, then do whatever, anything that you want to do. Then you know, nails. I don't do nail. Okay, but my sister does. So you know, like you do that, it comes alive. But startup, it takes.
And later, sort of a nightclub, you spend $3,000 the next day.
Yeah, it's hard because if they sit down, it's not reversing to hand.
So it saves them a lot of money. You start spending like 90, it's better than you know, all these they know that. So some people they don't do it. Credit card things don't work.
Are you sure?
Crypto, and they don't have standing around. They have kiosks there.
Hi, you are pitching, right?
Yes, Atul, right?
Yeah.
Hi, nice to meet you, Sushil.
Sushi, yeah.
Yeah. Do I need to test or is that okay?
Yeah. Score. There is There is four button. Yeah. So I'm going to open it.
Oh, it's not open yet. That's
Yeah,
it.
I'm going to open it right now. Yeah, it's done.
For a small organization,
Are you doing the slides or the decks and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Because Ken said that he needed me to set my laptop up because somebody hasn't got the right laptop, a lady or something.
Then can you send him your slide?
No, I'm okay. It's somebody else. He's asked me to help somebody else. He says there's a lady who doesn't have the right laptop. Can she share my laptop?
Okay, so you want to help?
Yeah, I mean, can I? I don't know. Tell me what I need to
That'll
do.
be great. Yeah, that'll be great.
So
I
who is
don't
it?
know. I don't know. Maybe one of these. I don't know. He Ken will tell you. Okay.
Let me see. Basically,
Whether you want to anonymize or
yeah, that's right.
and then
Whoever's up.
I'm going to order them by their pictures. Okay, 1 second. Right now they are just
Are these the ones you present? This is
I will order them again.
You have that 1 minute
Oh yeah.
It tells me maximum 9 characters.
No. It's 1 minute. Just 1 minute. I'll make it 10. 1 minute.
Okay.
So, Atul,
Okay, I'm
not sign up?
No, I'm very busy.
He's
Here.
from
Same
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Some
It
of
took an
his-
hour
so
long
this is
over
the
here.
problem I'm talking about. He did not sign up.
I'm a military veteran. I have a nanotech product that solves a $200 million pharma problem to save 1 million lives a year. I really came all the way here for an hour to pitch.
No, but other participants have already signed up. We have
I'll be the
communicated.
last one. It's totally fine. I'll go very quickly.
I don't know.
Ken's
Because
the boss. Thank you so
we
much.
already have 7, so it's going to be real long.
If
And they are standby over here too.
yeah. If anybody is not present, at the end you can pitch, but otherwise it's difficult.
It's very difficult because everyone who is supposed to be all signed up, follow all the process, they are all here. So it's like I can't really let you jump the queue. That's my
Could I
problem.
just be in the back of the line? If you're like the last person
the
to pitch.
event, no, then the event will be too long because the venue is So
How long are the pitches?
the pitches is the 10 minutes.
If I do a 3-minute pitch at the end.
How about this? We're gonna do everything, and then when everything is done, when everything is done, when the first place is announced, when all the judges is done, when the first place is announced, when everything is over, you come on top. I'll let you do the last.
Thank you so much.
But the
Really
thing is, like,
appreciate it.
you have to follow procedure because when
I'm
you
so
do,
sorry. It's 100%
Silicon
my fault.
Valley,
It's not your
Silicon Valley, if you don't follow the process, it's tough to get in. Because everyone follow the process. You know,
You're right. You're
But
completely
otherwise
right.
it's very
And I know I would have been selected too. It's really, it's quite cool. I think you'll like it when you see it. But thank you so much for giving me the
It's like
chance.
now it's like these guys gonna complain. I have 2 more is gonna complain.
Thank you. You're amazing.
I'm gonna let them know. So they three of them is gonna do it real quick. So 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Totally
minutes,
fine.
and then
Especially,
we
I would send my deck to you.
Sorry.
Send my presentation
No,
to
you
you.
have to use your own PC.
But should I move to? Oh, I just bring it up and plug it in.
Yeah. Do you have a PC?
Yeah, I got it. PC.
You want to test it? It's HDMI. So now you know why 1 week before has to announce. Not wait until last minute.
Very low, very low.
So we could go. That's alternative for hospitality. So you can present.
I hate to be this guy. It's one of the new ones without HDMI port.
No, you have to
It's has the HDMI port.
Actually, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not even Sheena, I'm the operation manager
Yeah,
here.
yeah, I know.
So I'm not sure if Sean told you before, we have like this complaint from the neighbor. So everything before 7 has to be quiet here. So if you can keep the volume down, would be great. And some companies still working here. Thank you so much.
Let me ask someone.
So ask someone.
Could you announce, ask them
Watch
to
for it, like when they
keep
present
quiet
the pitch.
because his neighbors
I'm sure someone is going to expect that.
7 o'clock, we close okay. Till 7 o'clock.
I guess someone will have to, like, when they present it, just watch
Can
it
you
for it.
announce? Yeah, that's it. And other people might have the same problem.
Hi everyone. We are not starting yet, but it turned out our neighbor next door just came over and they said we are too loud. But 7 o'clock we can party. But before 7 o'clock we are too loud. So try to keep your volume. Yeah, my apology on that. So this is the next one. Thank you.
Yeah, someone with a laptop with a. My laptop's too fancy.
They got a bunch of things that I don't know if that's support Slack.
Just download Zoom on that.
Check.
Oh, does yours not have an HDMI port either?
You want this? This is a Zoom. Right?
Oh yeah, that'll plug into HDMI.
And please return it to me.
Awesome.
It's mine. Yeah, I think yeah.
Hi, those who are presenting, can you go over there? Presenting, yeah. Those who are preaching, can you go over there?
I don't think this is the guy.
It's not working. Okay.
It works on my end, but I don't think it works for me.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, try this.
I leave it like 5 a.m.
Oh yeah, that works like a
Okay.
charm. Thank you.
Okay.
You're a lifesaver, my friend.
Yeah, please return it.
Absolutely, well, totally return.
One person is preaching and one kid.
my school is based in Oh, yeah. Yeah, but it's in campus.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
wouldn't regular schedule.
yeah,
Speech and media.
yeah, it's in San Francisco. Yeah, both of them. When I go, I take like 1 hour. So also even go to the SF for exams, but just like it's just 1 hour. Yeah. I leave it. Yeah. Just twice a week. Just twice a week. So it's not too bad. I love city cruise. I've been there for 3 or 4 years. I moved from but yeah, I did it for my kids. Oh no, I'm not a city person.
Some are like,
It's really nice. We have there's more space, there's more green. I live right by the beach. Yeah. I'm really wondering.
Yeah.
I know that we cannot go to the Oh, right? No, I mean, no season. I mean, I think a lot of times in July and August it gets kind of warm. Actually, the water is just so
That's at the top series. Everybody gets to pitch.
Yeah, I've never been, but yeah. Because I just talked to this man. It's 2,000 miles.
We're a little further along. We've done more things than they have. So not brand new, we already have a product on the market. Get the product. We already have the product. One main one is regular John. CEO does.
But here is my card if you want to just 5 minutes. No, I'm a researcher. Yeah, I'm looking for a startup to promote a research.
Test my HPI.
Over there.
I do financial testing. Various
Can you ask him?
Or you can look me up on LinkedIn. Your step two.
Is
Someone needs it.
is with you?
I got it.
Okay. Keep it here in case anybody else needs it. So,
I'm gonna put it up here. I don't use it. Leave it back here. You don't need it. All right.
What is this? What is it?
Yeah, I'll check up on that. Get there to the park.
Like assisted living. Right.
I mean, your mental is come here fast.
Yeah, you need to know.
No, I mean, if someone is here, it's an investor. Like, they're if you say, like,
It makes you think different. You need to make it something that looks different. Make it look like something part of the house. But it make it look like something. Or they won't think about the image, even though there's no image. You should put cameras in the air pressure, line structure, fire
That's why.
Is that yours?
it's a little different. We're in that kind of
Okay, so more we can you want to
if you do something about that, it's only costs $2,000 to make that.
yeah, pitching with him for the second tier pitchers. We don't get questions. We get in.
Just stuff all over. Money somewhere.
mention yourself if possible. All right. How's everyone tonight? We have 2 more minutes left before we can become. So how's everyone tonight? Good. Good. How's everyone tonight? Excellent. Great. Great. So thank you for coming to our very first PitchVertical event. The format is very simple. Every month we're going to have a certain vertical. So this month we have automation, AI, machine learning, and deep learning. So majority of the company are related to that field. So what happened is that we'll have 6 startups actually seven startups will be presenting, and the format is 5 minutes presentation, and you're going to hear a ring at 4-minute mark, and then that means they only have 1 minute left, and then at the 5-minute mark on the presentation, they will have to stop. And then after that, the judges, which is sitting in the front row, they will be asking questions, and that will be another 5 minutes. And when the judges are done with the question, when they signal that they're done, then if there's still time left out of the 5 minutes, it opens up to the floor. So you guys can ask whatever question. And when the first ring rings, that means you only have 1 minute left. The second ring, that means you will have only 1 minute. Yep. So each presentation, you're going to hear 4 rings. The first 5 minutes is 2 rings, and then the second 5 minutes, 2 rings, 4 minutes and 1 minute, right? At the end, basically the 10-minute mark, basically you will be kind of kick off the stage, the Apollo style in Harlem. Anyway, so that will be 7 company, and at the end, you guys got the email, right? In the email, there's a way for you to, what color is that, Atu? What is it?
Blue color.
Blue color?
Yeah.
What is it called, the term? Is it?
Score.
Score. So in your email, if it was sent yesterday, look for the blue button. It says score. You can actually vote your favorite what do you call it? Startup in there. All right. So at the end, basically the moment the 7th startup has finished a pitch, we should get the score pretty quickly and know who is actually won the first place. Okay. So that is the full format. After that, everything is over. But because this is our first event, there's a little bit of confusion. So after that, we're going to have 4 more startups. And this one may or may not be related to the AI or deep learning or automation. So that those 4 startups, they have 3 minutes each to do presentation. They only get 1 ring, 3 minutes, no 1 minute mark, just 3 minutes ring, no Q&A, and then they move on to the next one. So we want to run through them pretty quickly. Any question before we start? 7 o'clock, we can be really rowdy now. Neighbors cannot complain. So everyone's ready. So let's bring up the first person, Ivan. So if you look at your phone, look for the blue button. The email was sent yesterday, and then it says score in that blue button, and you can score Ivan.
Enter my nominator. So if you don't set it to 10 characters, I can't.
I said it. You refresh it. It should.
All right, let's get started. Good evening, everybody. AI is a very powerful technology. I should not have to convince this room of that. But as you may all know, we are harboring a dirty secret. You pull back the curtains on AI, and yes, we've made cutting edge, new techniques, revolutionary technology. But really, behind the scenes, it's a bunch of humans labeling data and training these algorithms. I've spent the last 6 years as a PM for AI technologies at companies large and small. While I was at Apple for the last couple of years, I spent millions of dollars gathering labeled data, trying to stay one step ahead of my engineers, unblocking them. But what surprised me was that here we are working in cutting edge tech, and these people are spending 8 hours a day in Microsoft Excel labeling this data. I looked for a better vendor and I couldn't find them. And so 9 months ago, I started Datasore.ai. Our goal is to create the best data labeling tool. We're focused currently purely on text and audio data. Competition is scarce. Essentially, we're trying to build a better interface and a better tool in Microsoft Excel. And what we offer is the equivalent. Imagine for a moment that the designers at your company were working on MS Paint. The analogy I use is that moving from Excel to Datasore should be like moving from MS Paint to Photoshop or Sketch. We're bringing this into the modern age. We create and we apply basic HAI principles to create a better user interface, one that allows power users, ones who are working on this 8 hours a day, the ability to move more efficiently. We offer them keyboard shortcuts. We offer them tools, power tools, so that they can get through their work faster. But efficiency actually isn't the bottom line for us. More importantly, we want to focus on quality. We all know that AI is a garbage in, garbage out technology. You feed in the wrong data, and suddenly you've got production errors that you don't know how to trace back. What went wrong? We've tuned the parameters correctly, we're paying the right engineers, but something's still going wrong. The quality of training data is of the utmost importance to our industry. The second thing we're building on top of this improved interface, we want to bring intelligence to this system. It's a little meta, but if we've got this event, we want to meet at 7 p.m. in Sunnyvale on a Wednesday, or it's Tuesday today, on a Tuesday, people are labeling every single one of those terms from scratch, which is silly, right? NLP knows what Tuesday is. It understands 7 p.m. It understands probably even Sunnyvale, California. We should be able to label that for you so that you're not starting from scratch every single time. The final piece of the puzzle for us is workforce management. Now, this is something only those of us in industry can understand. But you can't just have one person labeling data, because when it's one person labeling data, humans are fallible. They make mistakes. So you need to have 2-3 people look at the exact same data, label it, and then based on majority votes or unanimous voting rules, choose and select the data you want to send back into your algorithm. And we've built that as one integrated workflow on our tool. So that's what we spent the last 9 months doing. We have raised $1.1 million in seed funding to date. We're currently going through the Stanford Startups Accelerator. See another one up here. And we've been accepted into the YC batch of 2020. I have 6 engineers working out of Asia and 1 designer full-time. And I'm the only actually representative here in the US. But this is not just any remote team. My engineers in college, they beat Stanford, my alma mater, in coding competitions, right? So this is a whip-smart team building the tooling for data labeling that no company in and of itself wants to spend the time building up. I'm here tonight just to meet more of you in the AI industry. If any of you are working on NLP technologies, I'd love to talk to you afterwards. Thank you.
Yes. Can you say something about your go-to-market strategy? How are you taking this to the market? I mean, obviously, as you said, the market is sizable, but overcoming resistance, the people who are comfortable or used to using Excel, how are you actually going to get beyond that?
So I skipped over one important fact. We actually just closed our first customer last week. So that was an exciting milestone for us. As far as our go-to-market strategy, it's threefold. One is we are going after other startups because they're the most open to new companies such as ourselves. The second is we have an academic license that's available for free. So we have 150 students registered on our site who will use this for their grad school thesis and hopefully bring it with them to whatever company they join. And third, I'm spending 20% of my time talking to larger companies. So banks, for instance, this is the one we just signed a POC with, where they want to have their sub-organization use our tool for their customer experience labeling. So the nice thing about DataSort is we're not just selling to startups in AI, we're selling to any company, Fortune 500 companies that want to deploy AI in the coming years.
What's your current traction, and also this customer you have, what are they, a bank or whatever? What field are they in?
Yes, they're a bank. And so they're using us for customer experience, customer service classification, right? Is this related to login issues, et cetera? So right now our traction is we've got them as one customer. We've got another Series A on an unpaid pilot working with us, and we've got a few more on the way.
And for what's your estimate of the revenue that you might get from this first customer?
Well, there's a POC that we've signed for just a 3-month deal. And then we will hopefully extend that into a much more lucrative contract and also work with other other organizations under the bank.
And regarding your management team, it sounds like it's full, but I think that there's really just you and 6 designers or
6 engineers and 1 designer.
So there's no co-founder at all at this point.
That's correct. This is actually, I'm a solo founder on this. This is my second company, so I kind of signed up for that, knowing what I could get into.
Are there any particular verticals that you've looked at that where you think you might get traction faster than in others?
Yeah, so this is actually an interesting challenge for us right now. We've identified a number of attractive verticals. Not one of them stands out as the be-all, end-all one, but we've looked at everything from customer experience, chatbots, looking through even to podcasts. Basically anything that requires an NLP solution is something that we handle. It's a matter of how much do we want to focus our marketing and sales towards one particular area.
So who is your competition or potential competition in this area?
So I mentioned Excel already. Our actual biggest competition is probably in-house tools. A lot of tech companies think that the first solution they have is to build it out themselves internally. So the friction that you mentioned earlier, it's actually even more so if there's like an engineer or two that's really proud of what they've built in-house. But in 9 months, I know what we've built is already better than what Apple spent years building internally. Because you just don't put your best engineers on internal tool, right? And I have the best engineers working on this.
Yeah, the kinds of classification problems or the kinds of labeling problems is your tool suitable for?
Glad you asked. We currently handle named entity recognition, part-of-speech tagging. We also have dependency parsing, syntax trees. People call it different things. We also do sentiment analysis and document labeling. So those are the top ones that we've covered so far. We're looking into more advanced areas as well.
How about visual data sets such as images and video?
Right, so images and video are on our roadmap. We'll tackle those a little bit down the road. The reason we're starting with text and audio is text is still the most prevalent form of data in the world, and it's also where I've had my background and expertise. 1 minute remaining. Yeah.
AWS has a SageMaker training job.
SageMaker ground truth, yes.
Yeah, I just wondered how you compare against that.
Yeah, I'm definitely keeping tabs. So Amazon just announced a tool in this space last year. From what I've seen, it's fairly rudimentary at the moment. Certainly Amazon can continue to invest in it. But I think what we've developed in the last 9 months is already far surpassing what they've released so far. Well, I'll be paying close attention at the next Amazon conference.
Well, what's your pricing model?
For most companies, it'll be on a per seat basis. So based on the number of labelers as well as thresholds on the amount of labels applied on our platform every month. But obviously for enterprise, we'll have custom pricing. Cool. Thank you all.
All right, you have 1 minute to vote. So, and also, just that you know, the restroom is behind here. So if you want to go, you can go right now before they start. Before the next one starts.
So the button is score.
Yeah, use the button. Use the score button, the blue button. And you should, in that email, you should have your ID. Use that ID.
Datasaur.ai. It's like dinosaur, but data. Yep.
Okay.
S-O-U-R.
I want to vote. I don't have that email. Is it?
Have you registered?
Yeah, registered means like RSVP meetup. We need to. This one.
What's your name?
Last name Chubadi J.
Email.
Email S Chubadi.
S.
S Chubadi J. VV 2 V's. ADR at Gmail.
It's not there.
All right,
It's okay.
the next
Don't worry.
one, we'll let, oh, yeah, okay. Matt, okay.
So I think you've just put my 10-year-old daughter out of the job and doing the labelling for us. So that was very interesting. So my name is Matthew Hayes. I'm the CEO of Intelligent Sports. Intelligent Sports is a sports analytics platform for entry-level sports players. So we're looking to democratize sports analytics to entry-level players, give them data about their performance and help them improve. So what's the problem? The problem is that, like John McEnroe there, he's very, very upset. He's always upset. Players kind of need data to be able to improve, to be able to train. If you don't have any data to work on, how do you kind of structure your training? How do you improve over time? Really, I mean, entry-level sports players, you're playing against yourself. You're trying to constantly improve your sporting performance against what you're doing at the time. So, you know, what's kind of out there to do this sort of thing? Runners and cyclists have been very lucky. You know, they've kind of had time series data. They've been able to kind of measure their 5K times, their laps, their split times, their cadence. But when you're talking about like tennis players, these guys don't have any data to work with. You talk about basketball, baseball, football, soccer. You know, how do you come off a pitch, know what you did individually, and then how do you use that later? You know, and the elite kind of athletes, and with the deep learning and AI, that sort of tech is kind of coming to the elite level. But down at the kind of basement, the kind of some elite teams and people like that, they don't have that. So, you know, John here, what does he need? He needs his first and second serve percentages. He needs his unforced errors. He needs his serve speed. He needs all of this data, and currently, you know, wearables and stuff like that don't really offer that. So what is the solution? The solution is not to have a smart cop. We've got a competitor out there. They go into sports and rackets clubs. They install a system. They put about 5 cameras in there, and they put a kiosk, and then you play your match there. You get some data, but good luck getting that call the next time. You know, if you're at the Bay Club, they can only afford to install this on maybe 1 court out of 15. What we want to do is provide something where we've got the tech, everybody carries it in their pocket, it's mobile, and then we can democratize and automate it. So if we can't democratize and automate it, we have to charge $60, $35 to send a video to another geo, to have somebody to analyze that in person. We don't want to do that. We want to automate all of that out. So this is a video. Let me just play the video. Just to give you some idea of what we're working on. So this is very, very early stage of our tennis processing. This is doing the player detection. This is doing the court detection. And so off the back of that, you can imagine you can extract, this is just with 1 camera. This is the important kind of aspect of this is we don't want somebody to have to bring another camera. We don't want the opposition to have to bring another camera to actually record this. We want everybody to just use basic technology, 1 camera, get all the depth of field, extract all the data, and our platform itself is basically you hang a handset on the back of the court, take the video, upload it to our platform, and then offline, after about an hour or so, you get that data back down onto your smartphone. You can analyze that after your workout. And these are some of the sports that we want to start targeting. Our initial go-to-market is tennis. So our business model, just tennis alone, is we have about 22 million players in the US, of which 10 million are core players. So core players means that they play at least once a month. So we're not thinking, okay, we need to capture that entire market to start, you know, taking us from a pre-seed company to Series A or something like that. We're thinking, okay, if we can just capture 1% of that 10 million players, then we can get to a monthly recurring revenue of about 1.5 million. So that's just with 1%. It's exactly the same market in the EU. So, so this is just tennis alone. This is just our first model. Later we want to go to other sports. And yeah, so this is me, Matthew Hayes. I have about 15 years making complex products. So, you know, I've worked on the first initial 5G modem, most of the iPhones from 7 onwards. I've helped architect some of the baseband modem in there. I've worked on cybersecurity. machine learning, and John, who's just sat over there, my co-founder, he does the business development. He's got a lot of experience of recruiting for startups, which is a major hurdle for young startups, is to actually get the talent in. John's got a proven track record there, sales, marketing, and business development. So we think we've got a pretty good co-founder team. And what we're looking for is 250,000 pre-seed investment, just to develop out the front end. So all the back-end technology, all the machine learning on AWS, we have that already. It's just, the initial presentation later. So thank you very much.
Regarding, say, your marketing information, one thing that occurred to me that you said it's a subscription fee of $15 a month, right? And is it possible, though, that you can have, say, certain clusters or even families who may have more than one interested tennis person who, in essence, for which they'd be paying on average a lower fee if they have access to the same, subscription? You get what I'm asking?
Exactly. We want also one of the slides I mentioned that it's for individual players, coaches, and clubs. So if you think of a coach, they want to show their added value to maybe parents or their clients. So we could offer like a series of licenses to a coach. They can use our platform when their players play, and they can, show the value of their training, working on serves and things like that, and how that manifests itself into their game.
Okay, but then in regards to the market, that sounds like it really is more targeted towards the coach than it would be actual families that have, say, children or even adults who are interested in the sport. So what I'm trying to say is it sounds like the market, potential market might be a bit overstated.
Not really. I mean, the potential market is individual players. That's our kind of first tier market. But could coaches use this platform also? And then could captains also use it? A lot of tennis teams actually have a selection process where they have so many players, but when they actually play against another club, they select the team that they're going to play with. And so part of that selection process can be the training, could be the data off our platform and things like that. So we're not kind of saying that we're limited to like one type model where you buy one license. Can we have a tiered user where you can have a coach who can supervise other users and access their data?
So how ready is your product? Are you ready to launch? Is it fully developed? Are you still along the way?
So we do need some support in mobile app development and front end web development. But these are just presentation layer aspects. That's where what we can do outside of our founding team. So the core machine learning and machine learning pipeline, some of the back-end processes, some of the back-end web development, we've got a handle on that. It's just we need some support kind of with the front end.
So on the go-to-market, I mean, I would say B2C directly is really difficult. Right? So I mean, I'm not saying it's one or the other, but you should consider going through partner channels. Right? I mean, as you said, coaches, teams, possibly schools could be a good way to scale this. But have an open mind towards that. It's tricky. It's a bit challenging in the beginning, but you ultimately actually acquire customers in larger groups rather than one by one.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're in discussion with like a rapid club, some movements to start doing trials and self-moving to them.
That also carries basically the word of mouth that gets to the next club, right? And then that's how you.
Yeah, I think the worst thing to do is kind of just drop it on the app store and just expect traction to take off. You kind of need to seed it in the market first and kind of build it out there.
Do you have any outside investors at this point?
No, we're at this stage. Targeting our investors. I think one of our mentors said you need to present about 100 times to get an investor. We've got about another 97 to go. So. Any questions in the room? Please.
Are you planning to put that as an ad device or just a app on the mobile would not have enough processing power to do what you need?
Yeah.
So there are quite a few companies especially today in Hollywood area which are targeting that segment, and what they're doing is take the data of Google, which is about $100, with a camera on top and giving it to all the kids in the school. $150 device. What the device does, processes in the end, generates aha moments and highlights it in it. does not send any data back to servers.
This is
the
the
weakest link to the application.
this is the Modibus, is it? Intel, yeah, the Intel team that do that edge sort of processing.
So maybe you might want to think about putting that in the edge without sending the data back to servers.
Yeah, I think the thing what we wanted to avoid is we didn't want to become a hardware company. And so, or we didn't want to initially start down that process. So we want to have very, very low costs, utilize technology and hardware that people carry with them. And by doing that, we can keep our kind of capital requirements pretty low. But do we want to kind of push the processing to the client and make it free? I mean, some of the iPhones and some of the latest Qualcomm technology allows like for some sort of GPU type processing in real time. So yeah, we could think about that later on. Sorry, please. Yeah.
So right now you can upload a video of 1 minute. How well developed is your backend? I'm showing front end a little bit. The backend, how well developed is it? Can you process a 1 hour testing? And then how long does it take for you to spit out the results?
So I mean that's the function. First of all, there's no limit on the upload size, but that's a function of how many parallel processes we can put into that. So for each video frame, we can have a separate processing that, so that we can scale that out. It's just a case of how many users and what the load is there. So the latency and stuff like that is a function of kind of the load and the resources that we put in.
So to answer your question, it's about 4,000 feet per second on the ONG and our very fast, which is about 2,000 per second. You can find that.
What is your cost to process a 1 hour video?
Okay, so about 6 weeks ago it was $30. Now it's $6. We think we can easily get it to $1 for 1 hour of processing pretty easily. And that's without doing anything too clever in terms of looking at when the match is on and when the match is off. People are just walking around and setting up and stuff like that. So. Okay, thank you.
All right, 1 minute. You're voting. And again, restroom is right behind me, right here. So if you want to go.
Okay. Awesome. Hey everyone, my name is Ankit Jain, and I'm the founder and CEO of Pathland. At Pathland, we are on a mission to get more people outdoors more often by helping hikers, campers, and other outdoor recreation users more easily plan their outdoor trips and more easily also discover new areas. So outdoor trip planning is inherently a challenging process. It's difficult to find new places and less crowded places. It's a time-consuming and cumbersome process, and the information is often scattered and fragmented all over the space, and it's often limited by word of mouth and local knowledge. So the solution is a web-based app to easily plan your outdoor trips by helping you discover new places that are less known, less explored, saving you time and effort in the process, and also being able to plan and explore all in one place. So why now? The open data movement in the outdoor recreation space actually enables us to tackle this problem more recently. There's also an increase in the number of campers who camp or participate in outdoor activities in general, and also an increase in the number of more frequent campers. Additionally, the outdoor recreation industry is going faster than the US overall economy, according to a recent BPA report. Additionally, millennials are spending more on camping and other outdoor activities. And in terms of a recent Lonely Planet survey, the experience experiences are becoming more important to travelers than just the destination. Hence, an outdoor-based trip really brings in that experience to a traveler. Also, final point here, there's an increasing interest in the awareness of the benefits of spending more time in nature to one's own personal health in terms of both mental and physical well-being. So the product is to enable you to discover, plan, and go outdoors. In this first case here, you see the discovery platform, where on the left side here, you have the various activities that one can filter through, and based on the filters, you get various results. Additionally, if a user wants to plan a trip, the user can go ahead and enter various trip preferences, such as the duration of the trip, specify locations, and also specifying the different types of camping or different facilities that they need. And based on those, we provide them with multiple trip recommendations. And based on those trip recommendations, they can go ahead and finalize and choose one trip, such as here. On the left side, you can see the key highlights of the trip. And they can even go ahead and further personalize that trip, day-by-day activities. So our go-to market is primarily focused right now on tent-based camping trips for our early adopters. And we're focusing on our efforts on blogging, social media, and engaging in forums and online groups. And as we promote more content, we are going to be using ad services to get that out there, or sponsor content. Our business model is a freemium business model, where the basic features, such as the browsing the map, are for free, but premium features such as filtering and using the trip planner have a subscription of $29.99 a year or $4.99 a month. And initially, we're targeting a revenue model here, where we're targeting 20,000 users based on the annual subscription and 30,000 users based on the monthly subscription for at least 4 months out of a year, by targeting $1.8 million of revenue over the next 18 months. Our competitive matrix looks like this, where on the x-axis, on the left side, we have manual trip planning, and on the right side, we have smart trip planning. And on the vertical axis on the top, we have outdoor focus. Our unique niche, or our unique competitive advantage, lies in the fact that we're smart trip planning for the outdoor recreation space, which is inherently different than planning a road trip such as roadtrippers.com, or you figuring out a day hike using All Trails, or figuring out a camp such as Hip Camp. The market. The U.S. outdoor recreation industry is reported to be an $887 billion market, and there's over 145 million Americans that participated in camping in outdoor activities. And in 2017, there were over 11 billion outdoor reportings reported. From this, the U.S. Outdoor trip planning market can be estimated to be $1.5 billion market, and we're initially targeting 2 million customers over the next 5 years for initial market capture of $130 million. This is our milestones chart, where we initially started thinking about this or ideating it last year. More recently, in the summer, I decided to go full-time on this. And in just last couple of months, we've been working with our concierge MVP, or our manual trip planning, with a limited number of users. And we're currently in our MVP development phase, along with marketing efforts, and pushing towards MVP launch next year. The team comprises of myself, Craig, Shravani, and our advisor, Lauren Chan. Me and Craig are both aerospace engineers, and that's our formal training and background, but we're also both very avid outdoor travelers. I've been traveling in the Himalayas since I was a little kid with family, and I've gone through 42 of the 50 U.S. states, either camping or hiking activities-wise. And Craig here has completed the 2,500-mile Appalachian Trail, going from Georgia to Maine, and more recently he did the John Muir Trail. And he brings in the different aspects of the outdoor aspects, such as mountain biking, where I'm more of a car camper. And Shravani has 25 plus years in business experience, and Lauren is a Kellogg MBA. And our asks today are for software developers, suggestions for advisors, and connection to the outdoor recreation industry network. Thank you, and I'll open up the floor to questions. That's probably a little bit too fast.
What's your ask?
My asks are for software developers today.
No, I meant in dollar terms.
So we're actually not actively pursuing funding in that sense, but we are going to be targeting that based on our traction that we get from our initial MVP.
Can you go back to that graphics of the competition? I have one other question.
Yep.
Yeah, the upper part says outdoor focus, and then you've labeled right to left axis, but there's nothing on the lower one which would make the someone who's seen it the first time think that it means indoor focus. Could you just try to clarify that point?
Absolutely, great question. Yeah, so on the bottom here, it's more of a general trips or general travels, such as I want to go to Las Vegas, I want to go to Disney World, or I want to go visit a historic museum. That's what we mean by on the vertical. As we go up, it becomes more and more outdoor focused. But great question.
And then regarding outdoor focus, do you also differentiate between the people of different definitions of what they see as outside, for example, differentiate the one who takes on an RV but wants to keep all the comforts at home versus the person who will drive maybe a simple car like a station wagon and then put up a camp, and then finally the one who really wants to rough it by going with a motorcycle. Does it satisfy those three groups separately?
Absolutely, that's the vision that we want to go towards. But initially, for our go-to-market, we're initially just solely focusing on the group that is tent-based camping trips. So overnight camping trips using tents, and that could be via car, motorbike. But the main idea is that the accommodation type itself is camping, and those are the users that we're focusing on at this point. But absolutely, those are going to be the different functionalities that we're going to be adding later on.
So you talked about your go-to-market strategy. Where do you put the biggest focus? Where do you think you're going to get enough traction? Because obviously the target market is very large, but it's also very diverse.
Right.
And of course the trip profiles that you want to cover ultimately are very, very different as well. So it becomes fragmented again. So where do you think you're going to reach your early adopters?
Right. So initially, we're going to be what we're engaging in is blogging and really driving the outdoor community from that aspect and engaging in the forums that are outdoor focused, such as camping forums and overnight. People trying to find better or easier ways to plan their trips, or people trying to find new places that are less known because of the surge of camping activity and outdoor activity. If you go to Yosemite, it's like almost a theme park nowadays. This feels like you're in a giant parking lot, and so people are trying to engage in those activities and find those different options where they can truly discover unique places.
Do you have in your value proposition something that really differentiates you? Because ultimately, sure, people have reviews and there's some blogging, but I think there's a number of things that you could cover that nobody else has that might actually elevate you above the rest. Is there anything there that's on your roadmap?
Right. So what we think is our biggest value proposition that we haven't seen from our competitors is the smart trip planning aspect. So being able to generate automated trips based on being able to apply preferences. And the only thing that comes really close to that is recreation.gov. But then even there, it's like a very low fidelity version. It doesn't really do what we're trying to do. And the interesting aspect of this is a lot of the, such as Reserve America and recreation.gov probably has the biggest amount of users that are like Go in terms of reserving a campsite, finding a campsite, those kind of things. But it is a government-run agency, and it's handled by Booz Allen Hamilton now. That's what they got the contract. But there's always a huge, 10, 20 years gap in terms of upgrades. Yeah.
Are you live? Is this already available?
It's not. We're currently developing our MVP, and we're testing with manual trip planning based on a concierge MVP. So basically, I'm the computer behind the scenes.
Just taking a second look at the lower right hand side. I've never heard of any of the 6 that you have there, and they don't sound like they serve, say, people who are going to, say, cities or are looking more for, say, hotel motel combinations. Are they actually in the outdoor field themselves?
No, so these guys aren't in the outer field. That's why
they're
they're
on the right side.
Exactly. That's why they're in the lower quadrant. And for example, TripIt is probably the biggest one here that does business travel. So it's a UK-based company that is really good for automating business itineraries and your hotels and accommodating different things in one place. And those are the elements that we want to bring to the outdoor space. Yeah. Good question.
So you update the getting kind of data in terms of availability. You actually part of your planning short order. And how do you do that? Because with camping, it's on the go.
Right.
If you don't show up in 2 hours, it's gone.
Right. So in terms of the data that we get in availability, those are limited to reservations or spots that can be reserved. But in terms of non-reservable spots, yeah, there's nothing out there right now that we can track with availability. Thank you so much, guys.
Or give yourself 1 minute to vote.
Hello everyone, my name is Sushil Goel. I am a co-founder at Layer 5, and we are building a cross-device identity resolution and management platform that helps enterprises maximize the value of their consumer data. So the problem today is that B2C enterprises are leveraging only a fraction of their consumer data they generate on a daily basis. And the reason being that the consumers are using multiple devices and multiple channels to interact with an enterprise. And while some of these interactions are happening when the user is logged in or known to the enterprise, on average, about 75% of the interactions happen when the user is not logged in or not known to the enterprise. And that generates massive amounts of data for the enterprise, where there are a number of identities with that data, and those identities have no correlation at all. And that causes the enterprises to not have good user experience. So basically, there is that results into poor consumer experience, that results into wasted ad spend, unoptimized customer lifetime value, and many other issues related to that. So that's where Layer 5 comes in. Layer 5 maximizes cross-device identity resolution using privacy-safe technology. So our product uses AI and a combination of deterministic and probabilistic matching technologies to correlate and resolve those unknown identities, that 75% of the consumer interaction data, and resolves that to a consumer. We also integrate other third-party identity resolution providers so that an enterprise can have the maximum benefit and can have a maximum coverage of connected and known consumer identities. We have done some early testing, and we have seen about 20% or over 20% or above uplift in terms of the connectivity of consumer data. So in terms of validation, we have validated with a number of companies out there, specifically a pretty large marketing services company, Axiom. They got acquired last year for $2.3 billion by IPG, as well as with Citibank. We have an NDA in place with Axiom currently, and we are working on hashing out a POC with Citibank. And actually, that POC is also being done through Axiom. I personally have been in this particular space for many years, and I have seen this issue up very closely across a wide variety of customers. I have talked to many industry analysts as well as my industry contacts, and they all agree that this problem is pervasive. In terms of target customer segment and TAM, we got two types of target customer segments. One is the direct B2C customers, specifically the large enterprises with 100,000 customers or more than 50,000 visitors on their websites. And we are talking about sectors like retail, financial services, real estate, hospitality, media, telecom, etc. The second target segment is the B2B tech companies that have products that relies on the quality of the consumer data that they get. So products like customer data platforms, customer service platforms, personalization platforms, MarTech platforms, etc. All these products rely on, or the effectiveness of their product depends on the quality of the consumer data they get, and we can increase that quality. In terms of the bottom-up TAM analysis, the total ARR value that I get to is about between $350 to $400 million. And that's depending on about 4,000 plus US public companies, and going from there. In terms of the business model, it's a SaaS business model with annual subscription fee between 60 to 180K per year, plus the professional services packages, and the tech partnership. What I see that I still need to validate is about 24 to 72K per year per customer. Long term, we can add additional products or additional features on top of this foundational platform, like Customer 360, Customer Journey Analytics, etc. customer acquisition strategy currently is network and intros and marketing. And team is currently just me, a small team in India, and a part-time data scientist here. I'm looking for co-founders and I'm looking for seed. Thank you.
On your value proposition, have you tried to actually quantify the value that you're creating with sort of closing those gaps? Because ultimately, a company will need to think about, do I want to spend 200K or 150 for this year? What am I getting? What is, where does this actually become lucrative for me?
Yes, so I'm also creating an ROI framework or ROI assessment framework that can help enterprises basically figure out an ROI of this kind of investment. But there are multiple facets when we talk about the ROI. So like the use cases I was talking about earlier, the poor consumer experience or wasted ad spend. So there is analysis we can do in terms of how much ad spend you can save.
Right, and I think I would presume that it's going to be very differentiated between the different verticals you're pursuing, right? If I'm in the retail space and close some of these gaps, which can ultimately lead to higher sales,
yes.
It's maybe different in the healthcare space where you're just getting a more complete picture of the interaction.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it could be both bottom line as well as the top line in terms of the savings or increased sales.
And given the subscription fees, which are as much as say 120,000 on an annual basis, what types of customers are you targeting, and in what particular? I mean, in terms of revenue levels, and also their in what particular fields, such as hardware, software, retail, etc.
So we are targeting large B2C customers. They should have at least 50,000 visitors on their websites for the ROI to make sense, and this particular solution to make sense. The sectors that I see is retail, financial services, real estate, healthcare, telecom, hospitality, and media. I'm already talking to financial services guys. I've talked to some of the hospitality guys as well. The need is pretty widespread.
Are you considering a channel play here as well?
Yes, and that's the B2B tech companies. So the customer data platforms or the customer service platforms, personalization platforms, they all depend on having good consumer data. And if they don't have good data, then the ROI of their own platforms is suspect.
What's going to keep your technology or your platform from being replicated? Do you have some sort of patents or some other tools to be able to emulate that?
Not yet. We don't have a patent yet, but the technology that we are building is definitely going to be patentable. We just need to get the POC that we are currently working on, that POC validated, and then we should be able to get it patented.
You are aware that you're not allowed to patent anything that you have already sold.
I was not aware of that. Thank you for telling me. All right. Thank you.
Next question is, so why is 120K? Why is the price high price?
Actually,
is it a lot of labor involved to create that kind of data, or is it?
There is a lot of data processing involved. So if we are targeting, let's say, 50,000 plus visits per day on a website, in a month we are talking about like pretty 15 million records at that rate, or sorry, yeah, something like that, right? 1.5 million records. So there is a lot of data involved, and a lot of processing on that data involved. And then when we are talking about AI and connecting the consumer interactions, it's just process intensive. Questions? Thank you.
All right, 1 minute for voting.
I think
Hello everyone. My name is John. I'm the founder of the startup called Programming Hero. And over the last 10 years, I've been involved in teaching programming. And throughout my journey, I have written 5 books. These are in Bengali, audience in Bangladesh, so you might not be able to read those. But 4 of them actually recognized as a bestseller in Bangladesh. And I not only write books, I also started teaching through the social media. That's why my YouTube channel got like 141,000 subscribers. My Facebook has almost similar number, thousands of followers. And not only that, before coming to the States, I had another startup with my friends. And when I moved to the United States, I exited from there, but they're still going on that startup. And after coming to the States, I've been involved with the development and programming in last 7 years. So that's a little bit about me, and in my journey, I was interacting with different students and their problems about learning programming and then solving their issues. But the biggest one I faced when my wife, who started learning programming, and she took a course from Udemy. And you guys definitely familiar with all these online platforms like Udemy, Coursera, Udacity. And when she started, she watched few videos, but she wasn't able to match with the content. And then I gave her another course, and the same thing happens, like wasn't able to matching with her level of knowledge and the pace that lecture was going on. Then since I have access to all these students, I talked with few people and then made a like survey and find out that there are 4 biggest problem. All these, I call them a first generation online learning platform, and like Udemy, Coursera, Udacity. First problem, say for example, you want to learn Python. You search Python, there are 20 different courses. Which one you will choose? And then this is video course. You watch videos like you are learning programming without practicing. Like you're learning swimming by YouTube videos. And you could be ended up like Leonardo DiCaprio in the Titanic movie. So you can't be practical with that. And there is no built-in mechanism to encourage you to keep going. It's like boring lecture. And most importantly, they are not leveraging like modern technology, like we talk about machine learning, AI. Where is those? It's like a 100 years old classroom, one person lecturing, everybody is teaching. But these days, everybody is personalized. Can we do something to make it that matches with you? And that's what we started thinking about it. And the solution came like we can definitely make this content a little bit personalized based on your need. And then we can gamify it. This is with our current effort, we are focusing this. And the long-term goal is to build the model. When we have enough data, we will train the model and then make it more personalized. And we started almost 11 months ago. And with our MVP in Android, we got like 200,000 users. And we have 4.8 ratings, 60K active users. And with our small team, we already started building the iOS, targeting to launch it in January. And all this user acquisition, we didn't pay any dollar because we know how to leverage the SEO. I learned all this, I implemented. If you search programming or coding, we come number 2 and number 3 in the App Store. And then also I wrote in the Quora, Facebook, YouTube group, so that like there are so many free resources, you give value and you get consumer. Definitely we will do the paid customer, but we want to leverage the free resources and the community. And we have a limited tractions, and over last few months we got like month over month close to 40%. Right now we are premium, but we want to switch to the subscription when we have enough content. We are working on the content, and then eventually we will build up a platform so that we have like much more robust path for everyone. And this is a competitive market, but I call these are first generation. They started 2010 around that time, but they are not keeping up with the latest technology and innovation. And this is the team. The important fact is like I am here in the States based on San Jose, but my team, my friend over in Bangladesh, I grew up there. So I frequently visit there, and we have very efficient burning rate. And the market is huge, and then it will be ever growing, no doubt about it, is programming and technology. And this is what we can achieve with aggressive growth or linear growth, because we already got some traction. And what we want to do is right now, we want to go beyond the mobile app, build the mobile platform, and also hire data engineer, a data scientist to build this personalization model, and so that it becomes a personal content that serves you based on that. And definitely this is very exciting, and somebody will do it in next few years, because university and all these things would be replaced by somebody, and we want to be that. And if you are interested to be part of that journey, come and join us. Thank you. Any question?
How do you plan to promote this?
So right now or in the future?
Let's say in the near future. I mean, because right now, if I read it correctly, you said freemium, which means that they're making this available. But how are those users finding out about it?
So our biggest channel is SEO. So we did a lot of like keyword optimization. So if someone wants to learn programming, they search programming in the App Store, and we rank number 2 or number 3. And we have like 4.8 ratings, so they like it, they find it.
Globally, where are most of these users?
I see. Our biggest country is India, second biggest is USA, then Bangladesh, because I have some following, then Germany, Indonesia, all over the places. But top 4 countries like India, Bangladesh, USA, Germany, Indonesia.
What is your differentiation and how sustainable is it? How can you defend what you're building, what you're offering?
There is 2 parts of it. The methodology way of teaching. So like the way we're teaching is like a little gamified, as well as the way we teach, like in a friendly way. We have the game examples. And the model itself is like 100% dependable, because like, if Google put like 5 engineers or 20 engineers or $5 million, they can build it. The game of the game is to like how quickly we can go to the market, execute it, and grow it quickly. Otherwise, like this is some technology, and there are smarter people or similar people. If they start, they can do, and it's kind of like a competitive game. But the good part, what we see, this market is really big. So it doesn't have to be like a single player game. It could be multiplayer game, like Uber, Lyft, or Facebook, Twitter, or something.
Where would you see a potential exit for this?
There would be like a 2 exit. One exit would be, say, like any big learning platform could come. So for example, there is not actually huge. If you think about Coursera, Udacity, they're kind of capped somewhere. If you look into their growth in the last 4 or 5 years, we didn't have challenges. So there is a potential to go really big and IPO. That's we see. But in between business, a lot of other things could happen.
Could you just put back that graph that showed the competitive
Sure.
analysis for a moment?
Yes.
Yeah. What I'm looking, the only one that in that sector I noticed is Lambda. So
Yeah.
what are their deficiencies compared to what you're offering?
I see. So Lambda School is like online bootcamp. Recently got a lot of attention, and they are like, you have a 9-month course. You have to be in front of a monitor, like say couple hours in a day, and they can only offer in a revenue share model. So that means it will only work for maybe USA, Canada, but it will not work globally, because they cannot sign a contract of like they will pay, the consumer will pay them after they graduate and get position. So that's what the Lambda is selling, and this is not scalable globally.
How long has Lambda been around here now?
So they are getting attention in last 2 years, but they are working on almost 4 years. Like the Austin, he's a good marketer, like a few of them.
So, online education and all those things were really popular in the 2000s, but they took over all the universities and kind of thing. It looks like they went nowhere. So still the traditional universities are going there. So I think there is a personal contact. How do you establish that in your platform so that people are engaging in the personal?
Yes, so we experimented some of it, and there are multiple different aspects of it. Some are easier, some are harder. So for example, you find out that like their gender, and based on like male or female, your content could be a little bit tweaked. And we have like a few example sets, and also like how quickly you adapt the content, and then like this topic will be broadened or shortened based on those. And I think we are out of time, right? Yeah, thank you.
40 more seconds.
Oh, 40 more seconds. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So that's like an adaptability of the progress that, like, say someone is like, you already know this topic, so I don't need to extend this one. You are not good at, so I put extra content there, or similar questions or something. And because of your history, maybe we'll offer you like, okay, this is a short review checklist for you, because like you didn't, maybe you might forget because we looked your one. That's the easier one. Harder one is like what we tried. We weren't able to make that is like, we can analyze all the apps you have in your devices, and there are third-party tools to know your personality, and we can curate the full course for you. Maybe we have like a lot of video library, we'll join together for you, but it's like production cost is very high, so we are not targeting that right now. Makes sense? Yeah. Thank you.
So you 1 minute to vote.
It's working.
It's not great. Okay, you got it. Let's try it here.
You just leave it like that. You just do that.
We'd like to
Yeah.
get rid of that.
Yep, it's gone. Okay, super. That's all gone. Okay. Well, if you just give it up here, I can
Try to
just
get started.
There's still quite a few seats in front if you want to sit over here. It's like about 10 seats here.
I'm gonna like not even touch it. All right, are we ready? Okay, super. My name is Lenore McMacken, and I am president and CTO of InView Technology Corporation. And I am so excited to talk to all of these AI folks because I have something completely different. I'm going to be talking about hardware, and I don't mean computer chip hardware. What I want to talk about tonight is how InView Technology Corporation is automating infrared gas leak detection, and we're making methane detection safer, smarter, and most especially a lot cheaper. So what are leak detection issues? First of all, production, over 2% of all natural gas production is simply lost to the atmosphere. That means there's billions of dollars that are wasted. The oil and gas industry is just wasting this money. And of course, there is the environmental impact of all of that emission. And as well, the safety issue, of course, methane is very flammable, and there are many serious incidents every year due to leaks. But most leaks go unmonitored. And even though repairing leaks and monitoring leaks pays for itself, they go unmonitored for a number of reasons I'll get into. And we have a solution, an inexpensive, automated leak detection and location system for all million natural gas wells in the United States. So what is the current solution? Optical gas imaging cameras. Okay, they're very good. They've replaced a lot of old-fashioned ways of looking for leaks, but they cost, the FLIR camera shown here It's the gold standard. It costs $100,000. So this is not like the camera in your cell phone. It also requires a lot of labor and leads to infrequent monitoring. And daily monitoring of well sites is completely out of the question. So what do? Well, we have a safe system. It's a fixed mount system for daily monitoring. There doesn't have to be a person on site. It's very smart because it's autonomous and it's very, very cheap. Compare $5,000 per system to the $100,000 mark that I mentioned earlier. So how do we, and the fact is that traditional cameras cannot get to this cost point. They simply cannot. So what we've introduced is a new technology called compressed domain technology. And so what does that mean? It's a camera with a completely different architecture. Most cameras, they image onto a pixel array. And if you're talking about visible light, like your cell phone camera, those pixel arrays are very inexpensive. But once you get into the infrared spectrum, which is necessary for gas detection, those arrays become super expensive. So we're talking about $50,000 for less than a megapixel of resolution. So what we do is we replace that focal plane array with a very inexpensive Texas Instruments chip and a single photodiode and a lot of math. So this is kind of where it's a computational technique, and of course leading to lower costs, but for this audience, it's very compatible with machine vision and AI. And in fact, I'd like to talk to people afterwards. Our camera, if you sort of map out the computations, it's a lot like a convolutional neural net, and the optics, the actual hardware, takes the place of the first two layers of that neural network. So again, this is sort of what it looks like. And we are reducing the bill of materials to less than $3K here. And I won't get into that too much because I don't have much time. Cost savings, $100,000 over 3 years per, for this particular well pad use case. And what do we have? What do we have right now? We actually have the hardware. We have a proof of concept that is ready to go out in the field. We've proven the concept in the lab. We're ready to go out into the field. We have designs for actual compact sort of fieldable models as well. And we've reached key milestones. The whole thing works. It just is big. And here we've got designs for smaller ones. And so what's the ask? Well, we've already put a lot of work into this and demonstrating it. However, right now, $450K would get us the field testing and the designs for the prototype, the next prototype. And then as we see going further, we'll need a few million more to go on. So just a little bit about me, and I'll end with that.
How do you propose to take this to market, and what would be sort of the sweet spot profile of your target customer?
Well, it would the gas services industry is what we're really targeting, and so I've approached the larger ones, sort of the Halliburtons and the Schlumbergers, and this is a very early technology for them, but they're interested. They're very interested in this low cost. So the lower that we can get the cost, the better we would have it in with them. I think a better initial approach is to go to the smaller gas services industries.
Did I understand this correctly? You said there would be a 100K savings for them over 3 years?
Over 3 years, yes.
What are you proposing to charge for this for the service? Because that kind of caps what's.
Well, like I said, $5,000 installed cost is what we're targeting, and that would be over a 3-year lifetime.
On this slide, it says more than $3 million in grants from NSF, DOE, etc. Are any of those grants being provided or offered to the startup? For the DOE, most obviously.
Well, we've gone through that already. In fact, that's kind of why I'm here, is because we're sort of finished with we've used that money for the development of the proof of concept system. And so right now, I can go after more of this grant money, but I'd rather not. I'd rather go, and try to scale this up.
And are you, is the entire $3 million focused on in view, or is that, or is
Yes.
some of it, some
It
of it
was
not
all
really
in view.
earlier?
Right. No.
Some of it was, okay.
And this was all since 2014, that $3 million.
And at what stage are you with the contracts with Infill, Raytheon?
Those are finished. So this is kind of a history. This is my history. Although we still have good relationships with a lot of DoD contractors.
What's your what is the competitive landscape look like?
Well, the FLIR. Okay, and so the fact is that optical gas imaging has been accepted as sort of like I said, the gold standard of leak detection. So that's what we're up against. But truthfully, I've even approached them with these ideas. Again, it's a little bit too early. What I'd like to be able to do is go back to them and say, this is the actual camera, and hand them a device.
Who was your competition?
Well, those FLIR, anyone who does optical gas imaging or develops infrared camera systems, but it's really something. This is really directed toward the gas leak detection. So other types of companies are the ones that don't do the optical detection. They have other devices that sense methane chemically or electronically, but not optically. So, and those devices can actually be very inexpensive, but they don't give you the margin of sort of that standoff safety. Yes?
So, having worked with in methane detection startup before, in terms of what are your thoughts on the new landscape of methane detection that's coming on, not just ground-based systems, but we're talking about UAVs, altitude boom systems, and also now going to microsatellites where there's a couple of constellations.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. I think our technology at the moment is not really mountable on a moving platform. Okay, so it's something that we would want to put on a fixed platform. And so we're talking about, what I'm really aiming at is, we're talking about 50 feet away from the thing that you're looking at, and sort of long-term type of monitoring. Yes. We have 19 patents. This is a very new technology, and actually the mathematics behind the technology was developed probably about 15 years ago, and what we've done is developed the camera system around that. Yes.
Have you also partnered up, or have you approached any of the organizations like Aid Center or other NASA centers that are carrying out stuff basically,
Yes, and not those particularly, but sort of through our work with grants and everything, we have. Again, that's a slower process, and sort of right now I'm looking to, well, what can we do right now, rather than go through the the grant process again.
Is there a way you can scale the go-to-market beyond just direct sales? I mean, is there other partnership opportunities?
I would love that. I think that would be, yes. And I believe that, again, the gas services companies themselves or the camera companies themselves would be great partners. All right. Thank you. All right. Yes, we did. Thank you.
She's supposed to be in there, but she's not in the right game. Why she's? I don't know how to get her in because I checked the ranking. She's not in there. No, it's in there. No, it's not in there. Yeah, I don't know. Oh. Because if you look at the score, Sushi. Who is this guy done? Sushi going? Yeah, he's done. Yep, everyone is done. Karthik is not here. He's here, but he's late, so he's got pushed out.
Okay.
And then because of the scoring, this is the last minute. It was Lenore got it before, so he's not in. So you're not in here. So Lenore is the one. You are the second batch.
Okay, I'm not the first one. You said 7 people, 6 presenters, right?
Huh?
What's your name? Vishnu.
Yeah, you are not in because you are in the other batch. You are the 3 minutes batch.
Okay.
Yeah, because Lenore
and I came in the same time though.
Yeah, but the thing is like, the same score. Someone voted because Lenore was 1 point before you. Someone voted last minute. Someone voted last minute and changed it. So I don't know what that.
I don't
someone
know.
voted last minute.
I don't know how she came back.
No, Lenore was before, and then someone voted along the way.
Okay.
So now, so basically you're the second batch.
Okay,
Yeah,
give me a minute for the question, go now.
No, there's no question on the second batch. So you now you know. So I'll work with you in the yeah. So basically you're the second batch.
Okay.
So who's the winner?
Yeah, so
who's the winner?
in just a minute or two. Then we'll
Okay.
All right. Lenore is the last company that pitched officially. So you guys continue voting. So we'll give you a minute or two more just to vote on it, and then we'll announce the winner. And after that, we still have 5 companies that is going to come up here and do a quick pitch. They only have 3 minutes to pitch, only 3 minutes, and once the bell rings, they will be off the table. And then the next one shows up. There's no Q&A on this one. So they're going to pitch only 3 minutes. Okay? So I will let you guys vote, and then in about 2 minutes, we'll start with the second batch.
When they show up, Lenore actually got a higher score. So along the way, I don't know how Lenore and his score match. 1 point. So at this point, it wasn't the match. So I don't know what happened. So it's like, but the thing is, like, it's already decided. He belongs to 3 minutes. No Q&A.
Okay. Can you also make one announcement for Techcode?
Oh yeah.
200 for 1 month, 1 month free.
Okay.
200
for 1 month.
200 plus 100. 1 month free.
So first month is 200. First one is 200. Second one is free.
Free, yeah, something like this. Yeah. You want details?
Yeah. I totally forgot about that.
Limited offer. Do you want to read on it?
No, just how much? Oh yeah, 1 month and again 1 month. Okay.
Up to 6
Up to 6 months. So if you sign up for 6 months, you get 6 months free. No, I'm going to just say 1 month and get 1 free.
Up to 6.
They don't really say. I don't really want to mean the 6. I'm going to say if you sign up for 1 month, you get 1 month free.
No, it says sign up for 1 month, get 1 extra month
for free. Yeah. I don't know what up to 6 months means.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm going to just say that sign up for 1 month and get an extra month free.
Yeah. And per month.
Who's the winner? Who's the winner?
Per month it has different rates for different 400, 800, whatever.
Yeah, okay. So what is who's the winner?
Just give me 1 minute.
Okay. I want to announce the winner while I'm announcing the host.
They are done.
Yeah, they're done. Yep, they're done.
One battery, not even very.
was awesome.
Okay, if nobody.
Yeah.
These are the
What is the company name? Oh, Programming Hero. Yanker Map. I say Programming Hero. Okay.
Yeah, there are 3. Everybody can see.
Yeah.
You want 3, right? Top 3.
No, I'm going to just give the one.
Huh?
Only one.
Okay.
Because this one is data. I mean, not the first time we did. It's like they're all the same, right? This one is different. See that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to use that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So who wants to know who is the winner? Only you two? The rest is done? Okay, the winner for the event for tonight is Programming Hero. So you get a free training session free from S Foundation. Before we go on to the next batch, I want to announce this location is called Techcode. They are co-working space. So there are nice folks that is letting us use the space here. So what is their co-working space is basically you can rent a desk. The desk is $400 a month. And for now, they have a promotional offering going on. So if you rent 1 month, you get 1 month free. So it's a pretty good deal. You get 1 month, you get a second month free.
So what about 6 months? You have 6 months, you get 6 months free?
That one you have to talk to the manager. Yeah. You may actually get it. Yeah. So, but our event host, our venue host is Techcode, right? I don't think the Techcode guy is not. So let's move on to the second batch. So the second batch we have 5 startups, and then they only have 3 minutes to present. So you hear the ring, 3 minutes, we'll vote them out. Okay? Right.
Okay, thank you. Now that he said we have little time, so I'll kind of fast forward what I was initially planning to say, and you won't have a chance to ask me questions, so I'll try to answer them even before I get there. For folks who don't know what HOA is, it's homeowner association. That's the fee that you pay if you have a pool in your home, or if you have really a nice gym at your place. So that's called homeowner association fee. Okay, so what is the problem we are solving? We are solving that we don't get another Enron. We are solving that we don't have another Lehman Brothers, but at a small scale. So when you buy a house, you want to make sure that your HOA is well managed, because that's the money you guys are spending on a monthly basis. When you buy a condo is a shared space rather than a single family. And as well as you want to make sure that your HOA has been managed from an operational as well as financial perspective in a robust way. So that's just to tell you that you don't want your uncle who doesn't know how to fit it, and then you're not looking at the lotto ticket for the reserve fund. Why did this idea come to us, right? I'm a good example of that. I bought my place a few years back, almost more than 5 years back. My HOA at that time was $400. Now, fast forward in 5 years, inflation at 3%, my HOA is 50% more. So that really is kind of a dent, right? So from 400, I'm close to 600 now. And who was wrong at that? So that's some of the questions we want to understand. Any problem that we want to solve, we should be able to explain to my grandmother or to the people or to my mother exactly. So the way you can think about Inspect HOA is the Carfax for condominiums. Go to Inspect HOA, put in your house, we're going to tell you, is your apartment association been managed right or not? Are you overpaying it, underpaying it? 3 big problems: right management of HOA, and that's where the ML and AI model kicks in. Today, based on the age, location, construction type, your HOA is a certain dollar amount today, but what do you anticipate in the next 5 years? What can you anticipate in the next 10 years? And then how does it look like the building around you? So, and again, I'm kind of rushing because we have 3 minutes. This is what a sample report would look like, where we would provide you a in-depth analysis of your financial as well as operational, tell you what HOA in the next 5-10 years would look like, a more comparative analysis, and a summary of bylaws as well. In my apartment, you're not allowed to have a dog which is more than 20 inches. And I'm a dog lover, so you want to make sure that you get. How do we do it? We collect data, so we have multiple ways. We work with agent, end customers, and other data agency. We get all that HOA data together. We have machine learning algorithm. My co-founder, Vishwat, who's not here right now, he's the tech lead on that. And then this gets reviewed by an analyst team, which is based in US as well as in India. Talking about numbers, half of the houses sold in US has an HOA, which can range from a couple $100. I've seen one of them to be $100 somewhere in Texas, as high as $1,500. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. I know, and if there's any follow-up. Thank you.
All right, you guys, I only have 3 minutes, so I'm going to speak very quickly. Is everyone good at this? You know why it's not popping right up? Be able to take it out, fill it back in. If I turn on screen, I'll be quick, I promise. Is anyone adept at this sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. Where there's a will, there's a way. All right. Name's Matt McGuire. That's Matt at safestamp.com. MATT at SAFESTAMP. Moving quickly here. So I was a special operations soldier deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. While I was in Iraq, I'm curious how these bad guys have so much money. This is actually an illustrated picture of a photograph of me, an Iraqi orphan, who did steal my hat. So I got curious how they have so much money. I came across a problem called counterfeit drugs. They were making and selling fake pills to pharmacies around the world. Later, I attended the Wharton MBA program at the University of Pennsylvania. I noticed that foreign students would buy medicine and vitamins in Philadelphia and send it home to their families. When I asked why, they said they didn't trust they got to the local pharmacies. I decided to do my research, and what I found was pretty shocking. Over 1 million people each year, that's Interpol's number, not mine, die from fake drugs. And this problem costs pharma $200 billion per year. $200 billion. This is all over the world, except really Canada and United States, but all over South America, all over Africa, Asia, and even in Europe. It's a huge problem. So I developed a solution. I acquired some IP, and the solution is SafeStamp. You breathe on, it's an indicator that seals medicine packaging. You breathe on it, it glows. You touch that glow, it changes color. This glow is based off of advanced quantum reaction that's too difficult to be replicated by any counterfeiter, but simple enough for anyone to use. So we're going to sell this to the pharma companies and allow them to capture back the $200 billion in lost revenues. I would note that there are some competitors doing texting things or whatever. They've all been counterfeited. But that said, one was shown to increase their client sales by 600%. So even though they're counterfeit so often they have a 24-hour hotline, their value prop is 600%. So you can imagine what ours is going to be. Our product works not only for medicine, but any counterfeited good, and there's projected to be over $1.8 trillion in counterfeit goods sold in 2020. So there's a wide array of products. Some of our first customers that put in purchase orders have been non-pharma products. The executive of Boehringer Ingelheim said by far the most clever innovative solution he's ever seen. We've won a slew of awards, and we have a LOI and a slew of purchase orders. I'm actually traveling to Ghana next month to lock down a few more orders. And we are raising $2.5 million. Now we do have a seed round that allows us to allow smaller investments, but that's about to close. Really, what we're looking for is a Series A round for that $2.5 million, $500,000 or less for that Series A round, and that'll be an equity exchange. Like our models are very complicated. Like I said, I went to war, but they're extremely conservative. They only take into account pharma, not the other people we already even have purchase orders for. We're showing over almost $60 million in net income by 2022. And like I said, very conservative model. So an investor at $25 million could expect over 1,000% return on their investment if we exit in 3 years. And again, that's extremely conservative. We have a heck of a team. Some of the best people in the biz. So Mike Wang, our production engineer. Johnny Fells, one of the premier polymer scientists in the world. This guy quit a job on Wall Street to work for us as CFO. We'll go into all of our advisors, but Tom James invested in Zendesk, which is now over $2 billion, so that bodes well for us. So this is the last one. We're a company with a mission that's to save 1 million lives a year, but we're also a company with a vision. That's to be so profitable. People run into social impact to copycat us and make some money. So please, matt@safestamp.com, email me or talk to me. I'll get your business cards after. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you to Ken Wong for letting me do this.
I will use again.
Hi everyone, my name is Karthik Krishna. I'm the founder CEO of Upturn. Upturn is a mobile app which enables intelligent stock investing enabled by AI. So primarily this is an app which runs machine learning algorithms trying to churn more than 50 plus algorithms to identify when to buy or sell a stock. Now, why do I need this? Say for example, to put it in perspective, if you're using Robinhood or you're using Charles Schwab, you already have a lot of data which says how is the stock doing, what are the charts, there's also a lot of rating. But with these ratings, it's quite overwhelming. Do I buy or do I sell the stock right now? For example, you also have buy ratings, you have 2-star ratings, you have sell ratings. Now, I want to be buying and selling probably for shorter intervals. For example, NVIDIA, I might want to buy, some want to buy long, I want to hold it for years, or I want to be trading 2 to 3 times a year of just that. Or how do I build portfolios? Or for instance, also the stock has gone up, and if I'm considering for the last 3 months, am I too late in the game to get it? So these are some of the things that Upturn tries to answer. The way it does is through a concept called personas. The AI/ML recommendations for the stock is primarily trying to say, is based on a persona which says how long are you planning to hold the stock. This is your investment decision that you want to do. I want to be holding some stocks for a long time, some I want to be trading a few months, or some a few months in a year. Like for example, for the same NVIDIA's, I want to be trading a couple of times in a year. I might consider quarterly. How has my recommendations done historically? These are average number of days held. And also, I do get this historical performance as to how has the recommendations done. So with this, you can identify stocks you want to buy or sell right now, today. Also, it largely, through this adaptive AI, you can largely identify or avoid these stocks which are flat. Also avoid stocks which are in a drawdown so that you can exit out quickly. All these recommendations also need to say there is a lot aspect on how does it perform. Each persona has its own ratings, has its own performance. On an average, this is a more detailed thing. There is also how does it work as a portfolio. This is average ratings across thousands of recommendations, which is at a 17%, but this is more detailed for each of these recommendations. What is journey to date? from a technology point of view, the app is already out with 4 personas. With Android, you can download it today, or with iPhone. And also, I do have recommendations for the largest 500 stocks. And I'm a SEC registered internet advisor. From a business point of view, I do have subscriptions, and I have like 1,500 downloads. So the app was like out a few months back. Thank
Okay, looks like I won't be able to go into presentation. Good to go? Good to start? We are. Okay, so technology is not my friend tonight. I will not touch it anymore. We are Steady Take, scaling the digital video production supply chain nationwide. Digital video is the thing du jour. Everybody wants to be doing digital video for their online campaigns. It's, according to Forbes, a $135 billion industry. And I'm not talking about the general spend of US companies in marketing, but specifically their sport or in digital video across all phases of the monetization. Specifically, video production is $135 billion industry in this country. Maybe half of that is Hollywood. The remaining half is roughly marketing. Well, we are going after that $60 to $70 billion revenue opportunity with a network or a team, an extended team of 800 video production professionals all over the United States. This gives us a local presence in every major US metro area with our local team, and it enables us to leverage the cost efficiency of a distributed team of editors and creative directors. We launched the company in May 2018. I was the angel investor, and I have been promoted CEO about 6 months ago. I am now raising seed financing based on a revenue run rate of about $500,000 per year at this point, on a marketing budget of about $500 a month. So we have raised about $50K 2 months ago. We're spending $5,000 a month now in marketing, and so I'm expecting to raise revenue just based on that by a factor of 4, roughly. We should be hitting $2 million in revenue by the end of Q1. We are building a distributed local business development team, 1 BD rep with video production expertise selected from our network of 800 video pros all over the country to have the first capillary network of video professional, let's call them account executives, all over the country. By leveraging our network for business development, we have a pretty reasonable shot, without assuming very high productivity per business development rep, of hitting $75 million in ARR by the end of next year. However, to build a network of 100 business development reps and to grow my network of video pros from 800 to about 5,000 at the end of next year, I need some help from venture investors. We have some initial interest from some corporate VCs in the digital media space, and we are looking to expand our marketing budget and raise Series A early next year on a sharp uptick. Thank you. My name is Rohit Sharma, and we are putting AI in $1 microcontrollers, and those are called edge devices. So why edge? Everybody's talking about $100,000 servers and stuff. The technology side is, if you look at just the vision side of AI, number of image sensors have surpassed human population this year. So per person, you have 3 image sensors, and the number of pixels that thing is generating is about 100 exabytes per second. If you combine the entire network, including all the 5Gs that are going to come next year, the bandwidth is about 45 gigabytes per second. So we are falling short by the order of 10 to the power 10. So if we double our network bandwidth by 2, every year it will take us 30 years to reach. What's the solution? Eventually, people will figure out that the processing, AI processing, has to be done in the edge. And these edge devices that we are targeting are very low cost, very reliable, low energy, don't need internet connection. Their reachability is everywhere. And the killer factor is they're under $5. And so we're working on a product which is open source. If you go on bit.ly/DNN compiler, it will give you, if you have AI or machine learning algorithm, it will give you a model that works on 25 cents microcontroller to $5 Pi-0. So that's the technology as to why we would need edge going forward. For the market, it is about $4 billion today, and in the next 5 years, depending on the report that you read, it's going to grow anywhere from $70 to $100 billion. So that's the market. We have released DNN compiler just last week, and we're working with companies like Bosch and ARM, which essentially king of ARM embedded devices, and also a large GPU provider that I can't name. So with that, because it is open source, we have a community that's thriving. If you go on to that URL, I just gave bit.ly/DNN compiler. There are over 15 developers that are actively developing the product, and they are from all over the world. And we are hoping that it becomes the thing of tomorrow. If you want to relate to what we are doing, we are essentially nano TensorFlow of the future. TensorFlow takes an operating system. We don't require any. We can run on bare metal. So if you would like to find more about that, go on to bit.ly/DNN compiler or come talk to me. Thank you.
So one last startup to present, and that's it.
Hi everyone, my name is Rishi. I'm the founder and CEO of Console. And so what Console is trying to solve is a unique use case, a unique problem which almost each and every one of us have faced at workplace. One is managing decisions at workplace, and the second one is conflict resolution with your employees, co-workers. And so these two factors of decision management and conflict resolution are itself a big problem. Like, you cannot put a price tag on wrong decisions. A wrong decision can make or break a company altogether. But for conflict resolutions, usually people leave the job and there's a high attrition rate because of conflicts with co-workers. So approximately $359 billion annually have been lost just because of employees leaving because of conflicts. Now let's go into deep dive into how these two are related to each other. I'll go a little bit fast because of the time. So as you might all of us have seen, like most of the time when we are trying to get a consensus between our colleagues and employees, we try to, right now there is no good way, or everything is convoluted. People try to use wikis, confluences, something like that to bring all the stakeholders together and then come to a consensus. So there's no good data-driven decision model and a workflow right now. And apart from that, what happens is in these meetings, there's always effect like halo effect and bandwagon. So someone who is of a big influence is going to drive down the meeting and everybody just says yes to it. Or someone who, like people take sides, hey, I don't want to say something and that might offend someone. So they just stay quiet. There's no anonymous feedback mechanism and there's no tracking. Apart from that, there is no way right now, even for the holistic view for upper management to know what decisions are being made right now from all the team members or all the lower level management and team members in the company. What's the state of those decisions? Are they in progress? Are they blocked? Are they finalized? And who took those decisions? Let's say tomorrow, if there is a good decision that has been made, the person who has been accountable for that decision should be credited for that good decision. Similarly, when there is a wrong decision made in a company, the person who is accountable has to be. And so this tool allows you to have that holistic view of who were the decision makers, what was the reason for the decision, who voted for the decision, and then that helps you close the whole loop of root cause analysis as well. So this product is also tied to performance management as well, and also it's tied to other tools like Jira and all this for execution. So where Consolve comes in, Consolve is a phase before you start working on the project. So Consolve, so before you go to Jira, before you go to Asana, Consolve is trying to address the market in the decision-making process before you start executing. So in terms of saving itself, because of reducing down attrition and all, there's a lot of savings. But the whole point of the last point is the way it's productizing, agile development methodology was productized by Jira. So this is productizing the decision-making process using a workflow called Delphi method of decision-making, which was invented 50 years ago. And it has integration with Zoom, Slack, and all the other tools for making sure those decisions are basically everybody's on the same page. That's what that, since I don't have enough time. Yeah.
All right, that concludes the event for today, PitchVertical. If you're interested in pitching, we have another event coming up in December and in January, actually monthly, so let me know. And that's it. Thank you for spending 2 hours with us.
I have a quick announcement. We have another event in December, on December 5. Similar event, it's Hack Vertical, and investors are looking for startups in the area of 5G, mobility, logistics. Sorry?
What areas?
5G, logistics, autonomy, robotics, enterprise, B2B, and they are going. And top 3 winners are going to get 25K pre-seed investment. Similar event on December 5. Thank you.
I'll be ready for that.
Here only.
Techcode?
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. Do you have to sign up in Meetup or something to attend it? Just as a...
Yeah, just sign up, register. Otherwise, just comes free like this.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you sign up, you will get to network.
Are you organizing the event?
Huh?
Are you organizing the event?
Yeah. You are welcome to help and
Sure. Yeah.
whatever area, whatever.
Here, right? December 5th is. I should be available.
Okay.
Why don't we touch base? Should I email you or like what kind of a you need? Just similar?
Yeah, just similar.
Okay. I'll probably touch base with you
Yeah.
before the event and so we can figure out
Yeah.
what time is it.
Whatever help is little needed here. Whatever you see, we do regularly.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing much. Yeah.
Karthik, so I thought it's at 7, so I came at 7 instead of 6. So the way you arrange all these events, your connections and connecting, that's very good. So I think I sent a mail. Yeah, I sent you a mail.
You have before also you have.
Yeah, I presented with India, Canada. I just wanted to check if you would be available at some day for 30 minutes. I wanted to run my tech and get some tech with you, get some feedback because you do run a lot of Twitch events, right? So do you do that or is it like just these events? I just wanted to get some feedback. Because I was seeing that you do host a lot of PitchVerticals and all that. Just get an idea. Does it make sense or what am I missing?
Yeah, sure. I can.
I can just send you a mail to the mail.
Sure. I'm not an investor.
I'm just learning. I'm just getting some. Now trying to get into investing.
So that one is so different is like give you suggestions why all these are technical, not fundamental. What they did is probably the same combination of technical and fundamental.
So I plan to add to this is fundamentally
getting the individual feedback, like and do you have a video of the entire thing?
Yeah, video is live stream. You can check. I already shared the buttons with you.
Yeah, you shared the buttons, and I got the overall feedback, but I didn't get it broken down into each question. I just wondered, can you share that as well?
Yeah.
Afterwards,
I'm going to share your quantitative feedback to clients and qualitative feedback. Did you speak?
Yeah, I did.
Are you part of Easy Expo? The Easy.
Oh, is that what you did? Easy Expo? Yeah.
Is it right? Or are you the person who?
No, he's not. I think he's just another.
Easy Expo, yeah, I know the guy.
You're not that guy, okay.
Not that guy, but yeah, he's my friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because a breakdown of the questions I thought were great, and I like that sort of feedback. You did about 10 questions, and people could vote on not just one overall, but like, where's the strengths, where do people see the strengths, and stuff like that. So I'd be interested in that breakdown of the feedback.
Did you record it for him?
Yeah.
For everyone to so in the future when I pitch. I'm part of the cohort, and I'm part of the establishment cohort. So we're in the same accelerate program. I think I saw you last month in the one pitch preliminary. So you just record all the video for everyone, and then you send it to people on request it. Is that right?
Yeah, if you have registered, you should register, then you get all this information.
Then we will start getting emails about this sort of stuff.
Yeah. I will share the spreadsheet. You can see how much points, feedback. I'll share that. I'll share it on.
Yeah, because it's good feedback. It's much better feedback than you normally get, so it's kind of a good idea to check it out.
Yes, we'll go all the way in. How did I come here? I have all the basic questions I did for the last few months. Thank you. You were started. Covered it. A lot of guys.
Yeah, I thought group 2 was maybe I got some feedback's really good on this. You know, the people who go on anything less, anything very positive. No, you already voted for us. I saw